Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Naledi Pandor, has reiterated on a visit to Washington, D.C., how highly South Africa values its relationship with the United States. This comes amid recent tensions in that relationship over the reauthorization of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, and the recent U.S.-South Africa Bilateral Relations Review Act introduced in the U.S. Congress. SABC News correspondent Kate Fisher sat down with Minister Pandor to discuss these complexities and began by asking her what she hoped to achieve on this trip.
Well, really, it's a visit intended to interact with a range of stakeholders in the United States and to seek to address some concerns that members of the legislative branch have expressed with respect to foreign policy positions of South Africa. So it's really to engage with them because we value South Africa's relationship with the United States of America, as with many friends across the globe. And we would want to avoid any misunderstanding that may lead to an alteration in our very positive relationship.
So have you met with lawmakers on Capitol Hill, for example?
I will be meeting with them. I'm also meeting a range of non-governmental organizations, influential think tanks in Washington and other cities in the United States. I also will speak to academics and students. So it's a wide range of stakeholders, both to understand the perspectives from the point of view of stakeholders in America, and to set out South Africa's foreign policy positions.
And so what is your message, given you acknowledge there is some concern from certain areas about South Africa's position? What is your message going into these meetings? What are you trying to tell the Americans?
Well, the first is that we value the relationship. It's an important one for us. The second is that by no means does South Africa regard the United States of America as a hostile country to South Africa. And thirdly, to continue to seek an expansion and growth in our trade and economic relationship, because this is vital for my country's progress. And I think finally, to just say that we believe we're a vibrant democracy. Our practice of human rights and constitutional democracy are important attributes on the African continent. And thus, given these shared values and principles, the two countries should continue to work closely together.
How concerned are you by this bilateral review bill, the review of the relationship between South Africa and the US? How concerned are you, as your party, is the country about this, and will you be addressing that head-on in these meetings?
I hope that I'll have the opportunity to address the bill in particular, because there are a number of erroneous statements in the bill. There are assertions made both about the governing party, the African National Congress, as well as about the government positions of South Africa. And so I would want to clarify that there's clearly a misunderstanding of our policy, and also statements that are totally not an accurate reflection of our relationship with a number of countries worldwide.
Is there a fear in the government about, for example, the future of AGOA because of this movement within the US government?
So we regard continued participation of South Africa as critical for the continued success of AGOA, because it has had an impact on the countries that are participating. And I think it would be most worrisome to exclude South Africa from it. So we would want to see a continuation of AGOA. Of course, we want South Africa to remain a strong party to it. In fact, should South Africa not be party, I don't know how AGOA would be implemented, because so much of the trade relies on South African institutions assisting in the process of export or import.
And are you having meetings while you're here with businesses and investors?
Indeed.
Is there what kind of response have you had, or are you hoping to have from that?
I've had meetings already. It's been very positive. I think there's a wide diversity of views, as in any society, but firm support for South Africa. And I think a growing concern about the tense geopolitical environment in the world as being a negative for business. And so really a call on all of us as political leaders to find a way of working together in harmony and not posing a threat to continued world trade and economic expansion.
When it comes to Israel and Gaza, what is going to be kind of the message in your conversations with members of Congress, with NGOs, with other stakeholders that you're speaking to?
I think the key message is we support those who call for a cessation. We believe the tragedy that has unfolded is a scar on humanity. It should never have occurred. And I think all right-thinking people would want to see an end to this war and an end to the harm that we all observe so awfully on our television screens. So really it's to try and find partners who would echo that call. In addition, the matter of humanitarian aid and easing access of larger flows of aid is an important, I think, agenda item that we must discuss. We're pleased at the movement that we see, but it is insufficient. I'm meeting members of the Foreign Relations Committee. Some are Republican, others Democrat, and certainly I will table these issues. And I believe that a two-state solution is what all of us should work toward, and those of us who have influence in the region should really bring our influence to bear.
Are you intending to return to Parliament after these elections? Do you want to continue in this role?
Should my party get the votes that are sufficient for where